Hey there, Jamie with Brazelton Realty here. And today I'm going to go through an article that I read on the National Association of Realtors, really talking about who's buying and who's selling, where we see millennials being a dominant force in the buying aspect, and we see baby boomers being a pretty dominant force within the selling. So this is going to give us also an idea of some of the changing trends that we're seeing within families and within the home buying process in general. So hopefully this will be something that'll be beneficial to everybody. If you're new to this channel and you are interested in all things real estate, you want to keep apprised to the real estate market, maybe you live in Northern Colorado and want specifics here. If that's you, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified next time I post a video. All right, so what is going on in real estate and what is driving this particular trend? Right now, we're seeing millennials be the dominant force in the buying, and they're buying at like 37% of the market, which is a really high percentage. But what's interesting is the type of property that they are buying. And we're seeing this increased trend in housing that's not just single family anymore, it's called multi-generational housing. It's housing that can sustain multiple generations. Now, whether that's our kids that live with us a little bit longer, maybe into adulthood, or it's our parents that might come to live with us. So what do we see? We see more demand for separate living spaces, maybe mother-in-law suites or a finished basement with a kitchenette, something along those lines. We're seeing this demand from primarily millennials trying to buy properties that can house multiple generations of their family. Now, the National Association of Realtors sent out a mass survey to millions of people here in the US last year, and that's where they got a lot of this data. And a lot of the data is saying that 41 to 65% of millennials are buying properties specifically to house multiple generations. That's a huge percentage if you think about it. We're also seeing that 82% of younger millennials and 48% of older millennials are first-time home buyers. So we're seeing a huge push from the millennial generation to start getting into home ownership. Now, the other age category that we're seeing a lot of buying from, or at least 27% of the buying from, is ages 75 and up. Now, what they're doing is they're not buying multi-generational housing. They're buying more of a senior living type housing. They're buying condos, they're buying patio homes and the like. And we're also seeing 28% of buyers that are under the age of 30, they have previously lived with their parents. So we're seeing a trend now where a lot of those younger buyers are going in and living with their parents for a number of years to save some money and put some money for a good down payment. So we're seeing a lot more of this multi-generational housing being a necessity because it's being used on both sides, either to let your older adults, children come stay with you to save some money, or because they need a place to stay because they're having a hard time, or what the case may be. And then we're also seeing the older generation, because we are living longer, that they're needing a place to stay. And especially with COVID and everything, it's kind of changed some of the dynamic a little bit, because now we've all of a sudden seen that putting our parents in senior care somewhere else is hard, because if something like this was to happen again, they get locked down and it's really unsafe for them to be there. So having them within the home provides more of a family balance that can allow them to enjoy life to its fullest. Now, the last category of individuals that we see buying property is in the boomers and the Gen Xers. Now, their motivation's a little bit different, especially towards that older age group. Their motivation a lot of times is because they want to get out of an older house that has a lot of deferred maintenance or has a lot of repairs that are needed or updates that are needed, and they're going to move into a newer property, a lot of times very new, brand new construction, because they're looking for a place where they just don't have to do as much work to that property. And sometimes they'll even look at like patio communities where the lawn care and external maintenance is also taken care of. Now, the largest group that we see selling property is the boomers. And they're either selling property because they're having family members move in with them and they need a larger property, or they're selling property again because they're tired of doing all the maintenance on an older property and they're looking for a newer property. And sometimes they're even looking to downsize because they're the only ones living there. So these are really the breakdowns of age groups and what their motivating factors are. Now, I hope this is helpful. I hope this gives you a better picture of what some of the motivating factors are for people to move or buy new properties or sell their existing property. I'm going to stick the link for this National Association of Realtors article down below. If it's something you want to look at and read through yourself, go ahead. I'm also going to stick the Colorado 2020 real estate market report down in the description below. So if you want to get more statistics and learn more about our housing market, go ahead and download that absolutely free, and hopefully it'll help you out.